Third gen Camaro here at Unique Specialty and Classics. We've had some nice ones of these in lately. This one, very interesting car as well as story. So first of all, 1983 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 convertible. Of course, these convertibles were not done at General Motors. As far as the convertible part, these would have all been produced coupes from General Motors, and we're going to get into the details of that in just a bit. Believed to be an original mile car. Odometer reads 21,584. There's also paperwork backing that up with different mileage readings throughout the life of this car, whether it be on an appraisal, on a transportation slip, on a service slip, what have you. So believed to be original mile cars. Carfax is clean. There's no accidents indicated, and there's no mileage over that 21,000 mark on the Carfax either. All right, so high output 305 underneath the hood. That is numbers matching, original to this car. This is also a 5-speed car. Now some of you might say, wait, 5-speed. I thought they were 4 speeds. 83, first year, Borg Warner, Chevrolet got together, put the 5-speed in. I don't know if it was the first year, let's put it that way. But as far as the Gen 3 Camaros went, in 83, the Borg Warner 5-speed was put into the Camaro. Power steering, power brakes, AC. AC has been recharged and blows cold. Let's take a look at this front fascia. As you can see, the white with blue graphics. Paint shows well in this car, has a nice shine to it. There's a few spots where there's some touch up. I'll get into that in a little bit too. Still pictures, so you'll be able to see the underside, the interior, the engine bay, the trunk. UniqueClassicCars.com. If you're watching this video on YouTube, click on the link down below the video in the description. That's going to take you right to our website. Of course, you can call us, 507-386-1726. So the white Z28 wheels, BF Goodrich radials. We're going to take a look down this passenger side. I'm going to tell you a little bit of the history on this car. To me, the history of it is as cool as the car itself. So, the conversion. Richard Strayman, you Camaro experts out there that know about these conversions will know the right pronunciation of that name. This gentleman, he was out of Costa Mesa, California, and he did conversions on Ferraris, Mercedes, Rolls Royces, turning them into drop tops or convertibles. Obviously, got into the Camaro game, and that is where this car came from. As you can see, the passenger side, it's not full of any major nicks, dings, or scratches. I will catch a few of those touch-ups here in a bit and kind of point those out. Now, so you know about the conversion, you know who did it, you know where it was done. After that is where it gets interesting. So there's records as far as paperwork that will go along with this car. First of all, owner's manual, the certificate of origin, there's a copy of the broadcast sheet, and these are mostly copies, copy of the invoice, and then there's an invoice from R. Straumann Company to the original buyer. That original buyer is in South Bend, Indiana. And if you're familiar with cars, you know what was produced in South Bend, Indiana. Gentleman that went by the name of Mr. Stephen Blake, affiliated with Avante Motor Corporation, purchased this vehicle new from Richard Strayman, and they used it for a demonstrator, is what they used it for. It was never titled in Avante's name or anything like that. It was on the certificate of origin, of course, because they were an automobile manufacturer. There's then paperwork going from Avante Corporation to the original public first owner of this vehicle. So what was Avante doing with this car? Were they looking at possibly how to convert a coupe that they were going to had produced? Was it just a demonstrator for fun to drive? I don't know. Interesting story. Maybe any of you Camaro experts out there would like to fill us in if you're familiar with this story or familiar with anything about this car. go right ahead, put it down in the comments. You can see up and down this driver's side. Also shows well. Paint has a nice shine to it. Now, get right up on top of it. Here's little spots touched up in the mirror. Couple small ones. Where was it? Right back here on this wheel well. And again, I'm being pretty picky. Probably can't even hardly see a couple of those right there on this gas cap door. So a few little touch-up spots. But again, very cool car. Fun one for your local roll-ins, cruise-ins, local shows, Camaro shows. This thing would be a blast. Again, because of the story and the car itself. We're going to check out the interior a little closer. Take a peek underneath the hood, start it up, let's hear it run. I'm going to point that one right out on the nose too. So again, it's being awful fussy. Paint shows nice. Let's take a little closer look at this interior. Hope I've kind of made that history story on the car clear. If you have any questions, again, call in 507-386-1726. So 6x9 incorporated into the door panel, and the reasoning behind that is right over here. If you take a look, that's where the speakers would have been. There's actually part of the convertible top apparatus that now goes through that. So it's a pretty cool design. They kept the rear seat exactly how it is. You have this nice convertible top cover, parade boot, if you will. Fits nicely. We're going to put the top up, show you the condition of that. It's a blue kind of canvas top, and obviously this would have been a custom made and fit piece. A little smaller trunk. You're gonna be able to see the still pictures of that. It's a pretty interesting conversion, and seems to be quality. Now, seating surfaces, you can see the condition of the seats, how nice those are. If you're familiar with these Camaros, and I kind of call it the spray-on fuzz or spray-on fabric that you see on these hinge covers here, down where the power seats are. How many times you see the condition of that? It's not all rubbed off, look like hair falling off, anything like that. Very nice shape. Power seat over here on the driver's side. Of course, the buckets, blue carpeting, tilt column. There's that 5-speed manual transmission, aftermarket stereo system. Real quick before we start it up and let you hear it run, it does have the full exhaust with catalytic converters, new valve cover gaskets, power mirrors, power locks were in-op, the tech noted, and he also stated the brakes were 60% better at all 4 corners. All right, it's kind of tough to read how they have the needles in here, but it's 21,000. It's a 584. As far as miles, again, believed to be original, and there is a paper trail regarding those miles and nothing over it. All right. There's also an oil pressure gauge that has been added down here, and that's due to the fact that this oil pressure gauge was inaccurate. Just to give you a heads up on that. You can see the fuel gauge, tach that comes into focus there. So tach working, fuel gauge, sorry about that, it's a lot of focus. It's tough with that steering wheel. There it is. Temp gauge, that was a cold start, battery. Top of the dash looking good. Stereo's powered up. Slip around to the back so you can hear this run. Sounds pretty good. Nothing crazy over the top or loud exhaust, just a nice throaty, deep rumble. All right, let me go ahead and pause this a second. I want to get this hood popped, check out this engine bay. Remember, 305 high output V8, numbers matching, original to this car. And this was an original 5-speed car, everything like that. You'll be able to see a copy of the invoice, copy of the broadcast sheet, in with the still pictures. So a lot of that paperwork trail will be included in the pics. Kind of cool piece of a Camaro history right here. Let's check out that engine bay. There's a good look at the underside of the hood. And right as I was opening it, this thing idled down, warmed up, and it really sounds good. So again, numbers, high output, power steering, power brakes, AC, recharge, blows cold, and it has been converted. 134A. Very stock, clean looking engine bay, smooth runner. Looks good underneath there. Give me one more listen. We're going to get that top up, check out the condition of that, and then like I said, stick around to the very end of this video. Jason's going to take it for a drive, show you how it goes down the road. All right, let's get this convertible top up, check that out, see the condition, and let's see how it looks with that top up. All right, convertible top up. So it's a manual top, obviously. It folds up as easily as any convertible top I've done manually. And let's take a look above this windshield. It's a nice fit up top. Like I said, it's a blue kind of canvas. It's a heavier fabric. That appears to be the original fabric. Just the way it's hand sewn and how this fits. I did roll up the side glass. Power windows work. You can see that fits in there nicely. Coming around to the rear, nice clear rear window. No rips, tears, holes. You need this to keep you out of the sun or keep you dry. It's going to work just fine. And that car, it's got a natural look with it on there. Side glass over here in the passenger side, also nice fit. And up above the windshield. Very interesting, nicely done conversion. Now, I do want to tell you a couple other things that are on this car, if you're familiar with them. So the conversion of it and the tag, there's where it is, the R. Straumann Company, Costa Mesa, California. And then the date that it was actually produced right here. And there is also one stamp that's on the inside of this convertible top support. On the inside, there's a stamp. And I have the number written down. Let me grab that number. You may want to know that. So I'm assuming that is his sequential number from the convertible conversions that he did. And it's ST, so 10062. So now whether that's of all the conversions he did, or is that just Camaros? I guess maybe if you're familiar with these conversions, you're a Camaro fan, or maybe a fan of the converter, Richard Straumann. Go ahead and put it down in the comments down below this video. Pretty cool. So original mile car, it's believed to be, and there's paperwork backing that up and mileage recordings, clean Carfax. A lot of the paperwork is going to go with it. Owner's manual, then a copy of that certificate of origin, the broadcast sheet, copy of the invoice from Straumann to South Bend, Indiana, to Avante Corporation, and then from Avante to that first private owner. A lot of cool stuff. Check it out in the still pictures. It's a 1983 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, and then let's not forget about that part. Numbers matching, high output, 305, then that Borg Warner 5-speed manual transmission, power steering, power brakes, AC. Pretty cool. 507-386-1726, number to call. We do consider trades. Financing is available. Of course, we can assist with transportation. This vehicle may be eligible for an extended service contract. Consult with your sales associate when you call in or email. UniqueClassicCars.com. Check out all those still pictures. Jason's going to take it for a drive.
Hey, it's George from Motorhood Podcast at Unique Classic Cars.
Hey, and this is Jeremy, and we're here to tell you where you can find our podcast. So first off, on all the Audible platforms, including Spotify, iHeart, etc., and also right here on the YouTube channel where you can find all of our episodes,
as well as the rest of our shenanigans.
A few other fun things that we'll do.
And when in doubt,
gas it.
Welcome to Motorhood.
Today we're driving a 1983 Chevrolet Camaro. This Camaro with a convertible top. We do have the top up today. A 5-speed manual transmission right here on the center console. Which, as I say, is more fun when you can shift those gears. Very good acceleration in this car. Clutch feels good, shifting is easy. Our temperature gauge is a quarter of the way up the gauge. The fuel also at a quarter of a tank. Volts are charging over 14 volts on the gauge. Tachometer here, working as it should. We're cruising along at less than 2,000 RPM. Oil pressure. Now that gauge is showing a quarter of the way up. However, that is the factory gauge and it is not proper. Down below, SunPro gauge for the oil pressure showing 40 psi, looking good. The speedometer, that great 80s thing that showed you the miles per hour on the left and the kilometers per hour on the right. One big two-way needle. A cool little fact. Brakes feel good. I got heat blowing out the HVAC system on this winter day. As you can see, it is winter in Minnesota, but we do wash our vehicles so we can do these driving videos for you. This car corner is amazingly flat. I would almost think it's got some upgraded suspension components, the way it corners very well. Sony stereo in the dash. Cruise control works on this car. It's ready to go. Convertible Camaro, 1983. Take a look at all the pictures at uniqueclassiccars.com.